Good morning. We are
Hello there,
live
California.
with Barbie Latavisi and Nigel Smart. Today's we are talking about foundation for change. This is that week. Next week will be a little bit different, but today we are gonna focus on kindness is the key.
Mhm.
And as always, we like to start in by seeing how our day was yesterday, considering that I was in total blackout during our recording yesterday. Not sure what happened there, but we will get these technical difficulties ironed out at some point. So we figured today we'd go zooming to you and share a few insights with you. How was your day yesterday, Mr. Nigel?
It was complicated. It was busy like you. I was juggling a lot of things, but keeping my energy level high and keeping focused and not letting the fear creep in and using my affirmations and things like that, which are a great help. Just feeling a lot more relaxed, a lot more in control, even though the world around us continues to go nuts. And
We just can't let it
it's
happen.
now it's almost like you're watching this stuff through a window and the world's doing this. And it's quite gratifying, actually, knowing that at least we've got this kind of buffer around you that's like a force field that's either absorbing and neutralizing, or at least stuff's bouncing off you. I mean, we're human. Stuff gets
Yeah.
to us.
Well,
Of course it does.
yesterday for me, it was just roadblocks after roadblocks after roadblocks.
Yes.
I could
Yeah.
not pick up momentum. And I went to the point where it's just, you know what? Okay, that's fine. I mean, I was up late because I have this issue going on with the printing of my company logo. And long story short, there, I just said, tomorrow's another day and I'm gonna not let it control me. And so today I am back alive, well rested, and I am just gonna tackle the world, regardless of whatever obstacles I had
Mhm. Mhm.
yesterday. So I am happy that we're both here. And yeah, today's a new day. And that's really what all of us need to do. We just got to plunge through in this dark world today where there's so much grasping our attention and we just
Yeah.
can't seem to get anything done. The more we try, the harder we hit that wall. So I thought
Yeah.
that it would be appropriate to talk today about kindness is the key. It's absolutely positively, unequivocally, one of my favorite topics because it's that one thing about kindness, as it kind of dovetails a little bit about all of the everything that we have to encounter somehow when we express that kindness back. And there's so many ways to be able to impact others' lives through our kindness. I was
Mhm.
talking to you yesterday privately about some of my past experiences, and I remember I thought about this, and I just something as simple as just helping somebody. I was in Chicago I lived there for a year, many years back, and I remember just seeing this little old lady walking by. She had just gone to I believe it was Jules back there. I
Mhm.
don't know if you still have those. Do you have those in Pennsylvania, the grocery store called Jules?
Don't remember it. No, I don't. I
Okay.
don't actually. We have Wawa.
Wawa. I guess that's
Wawa.
kind of like a Piggly Wiggly in the southern
Yeah. Yeah. Wawa. We have
hemisphere.
Wawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady, it was in the dead of winter and she was just holding her little bags, and it wasn't plastic back in the day, it was paper. And I could see the bags with groceries, and she was plunging through, trying to force through the winds in Chicago, right by the Michigan Lake there where I was
Mhm.
staying. And all of a sudden I saw all her cans, everything just fall to the ground.
Mhm.
And it was at that moment I could say, I could keep on going with my day and just act like nothing happened. But sometimes we got to get out of our heads and into our hearts
Mhm.
and stop and think about the way we can impact others, no matter if nothing comes back to us. but it has a real magical way of touching our lives, and almost it becomes like a blessing to us. So I ran in there. It was freezing cold, and I certainly didn't want to be out there. And I did it. I felt so good, and I just moved about. And it's almost like it recharged me. And I don't know what kind of experience have you had?
Well, yeah, very much the same. I mean, I always harken back to some things that my mother always used to say to me. But just to touch on your point there, I think one of the things that's happened, and it's sort of snuck up on us as a people, I think, and I think a lot of it as we've moved to 24/7 availability. I think we started to deteriorate as a peoples, if you like, when we had pages. Remember pages? And then the early phones came in, and now in the last 20 years we've had modern cell phones, and then the iPhones and all the smartphones, and we're never off. And it's made us very grabby as a people, as a globally, but certainly here in the United States, I think it's where it's heightened. And we're very transactional about the way we do things. And I have to confess, I've been sucked into it like everybody else. But I've put my boundaries up now, and I'm saying no. I'm actively shunning that. No, don't get me wrong. I'm very businesslike, and yeah, I want to grow businesses and influence things as much as anybody else. But I don't want to be transactional, especially with the people around me that I love, and my family, and friends.
Yeah.
Business. I want to be transactional in a kind of way, if that's possible. I don't want necessarily to have the aggressiveness, the
Mission.
sneakiness that's there. My mother used to say, God rest her soul, Nigel, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I think that still stays with me all these years. And she's been gone out of my life for 30 some years now.
To mirror what you just now said, and we've seen this scripturally, do unto others as you'd like to have them do unto you. That's another one that sticks, and it's so important that we serve others, no
Right.
matter what other things are going around in our world, from our children to our spouses to our boyfriends to our family and the community,
Yeah.
particularly. Just recently, I moved, and I'm a single parent, and throughout the years, I've accumulated so many things and that are dear in my heart. And I'm constantly unloading because a child always wants to keep everything. And you're like, no, 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 we got to move forward. And so it's become difficult. But I was so fortunate to get assistance to Army full of from where I was living, help me load and unload. I mean,
Brilliant.
load the truck and then to my destination, which is here, and I'm so blessed in that way. And we don't really understand sometimes what impact those experiences bring us when we serve. And it's just like I said earlier, it's just so incredibly magical. And that happiness, it's kindness. It's in a world where we live today, it's so necessary, so necessary. And when we're living in the moment of intensity, oh no, I can't be distracted. If we just stop for a moment and just say,
Breathe.
what, this person may need help, it just charges our batteries. We just
It
got to get
does,
out of
actually.
here and into here and serve, because it's so reciprocated. In
Yeah.
relationships, it's the same thing too.
Do you find that as you look back now on your relationships, on your marriage, that maybe you were certainly in the latter periods, maybe where you were thinking more about yourself than about you as a couple, and things started to creep in that were transactional. I can put my heart on my hand, or my hand on my heart, sorry, and say, you know, as I look back, maybe at least it was interpreted that way, that I was being somewhat transactional at some point. And you know, and that's quite a revelation. That is something that you want to change. I actually get a kick out of helping. It's just, you know, I'm reminded of a line in a movie. If you want to do this, be nice. If you're going to be firm, still be nice. If the person insults you, be nice. And I think it was Roadhouse with the Dirty Dancing. I remember his name. He died a few years ago of cancer.
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. Be nice. And it's funny that resonates in my head because you know, even as you negotiate contracts in business, be nice. It's nicer that way. You can still be firm, you can still be focused, you can still be forceful, but not necessarily nasty aggressive.
You know, it's interesting though, we do have to set limitations, because I will have to tell you, I have been in relationships where it's just all self-serving.
Yeah.
And at what point do you draw that line? Now I'm countering what you're saying, just because I know that many of our viewers, you know, and just to be clear, we serve here, we're here to serve from relationships to marriages to those undergoing a divorce who are struggling significantly. This kind of mirrors what I'm about to say, caters predominantly to those who are really struggling in their relationships. Sometimes we have those that are just so self-serving, it's about them. And they just expect and expect and expect, and they break our spirits to a certain point. We're just so willing to serve because we love, but then there's those that take it to such an extreme that that's where you start to say, I'm drawing that line in the sand. This is not happening anymore. And I myself have found that I've had to do that. And it's like that awakening moment that tells me, no, you know, it has to be a balance of some sort. You know, from even saying I am sorry, you know, that's a humbling way about it. Sometimes it just takes the greater strength individual to be able to say, I'm so sorry. You know, even
it's lost its value, that statement though, hasn't it? And that's when the tonal things that really come into how you say it. People say the actions speak louder than words, and that's true, but at the same time, there's a way that you can say things. I think people intuitively get it when it's from the heart and when it's, as you say, from the soul. It's become very, very cheap. Like, oh, I can just say this and it's okay. I think though, in the modern era, and again, this is a combination of our tech, 24/7, always connected, everybody's got ADD, and the fact that the fear factor that's crept in this year with the COVID, I think there's an element of people don't want to believe you when you say things anymore. There's a suspicion. Again, this transactional thing comes in, is what's my gain?
Very guarded, as they call it.
Yeah, it's what's my gain here? And if they can't see a gain, it's like, whoa, you know. And I think that's
mission is to see everybody smile. That's all I want, you know. So
that's it. I think that's what we're talking about. There's a breakdown in, if you like, our humanity, the humanity of how we're living. And that's one of the things that I noticed. And I'm thinking, you know, do I really want to live like I'm living? I still want to be as go-getter as I always was. But there's an interesting way of doing things. And I'm, you know, probably, I know, like you are, I'm experimenting and just trying. Maybe I'll just have a little shift here, a little shift there. I'm trying to do things differently, or I am doing things differently. I'm not trying. I am doing things differently, and I'm actually paying attention, Barbie, to what the reaction is. And I don't expect like a huge, you know, like a big change all of a sudden, because I think people are desensitized to to authenticity at the moment.
Similar
Everybody's
to television, we become
yeah,
desensitized to television and
yes,
how it impacts us.
yes.
And go ahead.
And there's so much social change going on right now that the people are either doing one or two things. They're totally absorbed by that stuff, which is corrupting their humanity, in my mind, even more. Or they do the other thing, which they shut off the TV altogether, which I think is a dangerous thing, not to be informed. So I think, again, like all things in life, there's a balance there about how much do you take in, what other things are you doing to feed your mind with the sorts of things? How do you nourish your spirit? How do you nourish that humanity in you?
And
Don't you
you're
think?
absolutely right. Yes. And that's why we're talking today about foundation for change in your own personal life. You've got to be cognizant of everything that's surrounding you,
Be
from
aware. Aware.
awareness.
Yeah.
And just like I was talking about that lady, and that she was really frail and old, and I could have just been about my business. Or sometimes we're driving down the road and we see somebody broken down. How about if it's an old lady and she may need help, or an older man, or maybe that person had a heart attack and they're stuck on the side of the street? We've got to be really sensitive to these things. We have certainly become desensitized, and it's really, do you matter? If you matter, so
Yes.
does the person next to you.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Barbie, there's a sense as well and this is where the transactional thing, I've thought about this a lot. This is where the transactional aspect of our lives really comes in, is I really believe if we've reduced everything to the level of transaction, okay, then when we treat people that way, we're actually losing something. When we only do things, when we only assist, if we think we're going to win, we're going to get something back materially, money, or somebody gives you something, a gift. If I give you this is the whole thing around birthdays and Christmas and whatnot. It's become
expect something
lost
back.
sight of things. But if we actually expecting that before we do things, it has to be transactional, we're losing part of ourselves. And people don't realize it. We're losing that humanity, that something in us that, we're all connected. People think, well, that's so-and-so down the road. That's another family. That's another state. That's another country. But one of the things that we should, in my opinion, be thinking about, especially this year, is we need the whole world to heal this virus. It doesn't care where you are. It doesn't care what religion you are. It's going to kill you. And so we should be concerned that, yes, we're the United States here, but we want to help make sure that everybody gets served in this way, because without that, we are going to lose literally our own lives. But more than that, we're going to lose, assuming we all survive, we're going to lose a piece of really who we are. And gosh, that's got to be important, isn't it?
Absolutely. You've got to look beyond your circumstances.
Right.
Clearly, if it means a solution, if you're just unaware because you've become so hardened as an individual based on all the unfortunate things that have taken place, the best way to regain yourself back is to serve.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely guaranteed. I would be willing to guarantee anything and everything that as long as you serve your fellow man, you will find a different person within yourself.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
It is so, so true. And I'll give you another example. And it's a teachable moment in this case. As a parent, I find opportunities to teach my child.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll share one quick other story that I had. We one day we were just going to fuel up at a local shop there, and we saw a woman with a baby.
Mhm.
She came to me and she asked, can I get some money to feed my child? She did not have a car. As after the fact, I said, I don't have any cash right now, but I'll turn around, go to the bank and come back. So my child was at that time, she was sitting in the back, she was still young, but children are like sponges. They absorb everything
Right,
imaginable that you
right.
can think of. And I found that in the back of my mind, being someone that I love to serve, I thought, this is an absolute, silently, I was thinking to myself, this is a moment where I can teach my child, this teachable moment. And so, she remained really quiet. My child, my Brianna in the back, and I was wondering, okay, what is she thinking? And so I went to the bank, and she said, "Mommy, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to go to the bank. You remember that lady?" And so I just tried to explain to her. So I drove back to the location where I thought the woman was going to be, and she was still asking, but I could tell that she wasn't someone that was intoxicated. She
Mm.
was really authentic. And having been there through my experience when I was going through a divorce and not having a dime to my name, where I had to resort to going to a Motel 6 and ask someone to help me until that whole experience was solidified, or sealed, if you will, in the courts, I kind of resonated with that person. And I just felt like I needed to do something. And I did. I gave her money, and the woman started to cry. I don't know that if anybody was giving her money, and I was the only one, she was begging for it, but I could tell she was an authentic, good hearted soul. So I found that too as a way to connect. And the more we serve, the more we discover more about ourselves and how
It's true.
important it
It's
is.
true.
So I just thought this was just a fabulous topic, one that just I get chill bumps talking about it because it's just so close to my heart. And I am so glad that we're able to share this with so many as a way of enlightening the world, just something to give you hope. And this is what we're doing here in this show. And if you want to, Nigel lives in Pennsylvania. I live in San Diego. We're connecting through Zoom because we're like-minded, kindred souls that we're very passionate about what we do and how we hope to empower souls who may question where they are at this time in their lives. You can find him, you can PM him if you connect well with him. Likewise, you can connect with me. We're here to serve you. That's what our goal and our mission is. And at the end here, maybe this coming week, I've got something up my sleeve that I want to present to Nigel and to each one of our viewers, where we're just hoping to do something to empower you at no cost. And we just want to serve you, right, Nigel? I mean, that's
Absolutely.
our
And
goal.
and like you, I'm looking forward to hopefully not too many months away when we can start traveling again, because
I know,
I
it's a
don't need an
tough.
excuse to come out to San Diego to see you. And it'll be great to actually get on a stage and with a room full of people and then have that personal connection. I think the personal connection is probably the thing that I enjoy most of all. Our lives are not perfect. We're not saying they're perfect. We've been through a lot together and separately. We have ideas about how we would like to influence things for the change, for a positive change. We're modeling those things in our own lives, one brick in the wall at a time, as I say. But there's a lot of things, and I think it's that idea that one person can make a difference, and two people working together like we're trying to do right now can make a bit more of a difference. And I think our
Right.
goal is to impact as many people as we can and create, I don't need to call it a movement. I certainly don't want to call it a cult, but we want to change, and enlighten, if you like,
Empower,
people,
inspire, all
enlighten and
the
empower people that, look, you don't have to be this way. Yes, you can use technology. Yes, you can be, you know, forceful and direct and whatnot in your businesses and life. But stop, that old adage, stop and smell the roses, sip the coffee, smile at each other. Smiling is just an amazing little thing.
It's
You
contagious.
smile, you go
It's
to the
so
bank and
contagious.
smile and people smile back. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you feel that much better. When you feel better, everything is lubricated.
With that said, I want to challenge our viewers today. If you are going to the grocery store, if you're going to fuel up, if you're not going to go anywhere and you're going to be at home, take time out to smile at somebody, to serve them. If you're at the grocery store, somebody drops something. If you see somebody in need, go out there and serve them. I guarantee you it will give you a smile. And if your children are testing you, like mine loves to test me, just love on them. Just take them and hug them and say, I love you. We can get past this together.
Barbie, we've got an unfair advantage. You have Babette and I have my lovelies. And whenever I maybe am feeling tense, those guys know it, and they let me know. They come and stick their heads in my lap, or they start snipping around my ankles. And then usually the larger one of the two, Bonnie, they're both sisters, they're little sisters, but one's slightly bigger than the other. And she lets me know in no uncertain terms, I need your attention. And I just can't help but laugh. I mean, sometimes I'll say, stop it, you're barking at me.
Yeah,
yeah, look at that. I mean, how could you not feel better when you've got a lovely animal like that to share your time with? It's almost like she's listening to me.
And they're so healing. They're so healing to your soul.
They are.
They really are.
Yeah.
Aren't you, Babby? I call her Babby. That's her nickname. But her name is Babette. Babette, do you see yourself? Well, the picture is on him. Oh, there you are. Look at you, Babby. Tell Rebecca she's watching. Tell her hi. Oh, she was sleeping. Anyhow, we hope that our viewers have a beautiful day today. Tomorrow we will be live again at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. And our message tomorrow, let me see here what we've got special. It's the company you keep.
Ooh.
The company you keep. That's a good one.
That's a difficult one in COVID, isn't it?
Yeah. But we're surrounded with our children and everything. So yeah, it's absolutely different. But we can stay connected in Zoom, so it works. We just have to make time for it. So until tomorrow, sending you lots of love, and we will see you on the bright side. Take care, everyone. Bye, Nigel. We'll talk to you soon. Hugs to you. Bye, Nigel.